The ship hummed as it moved through space. Staff Sergeant Alex Morgan stepped inside, his body tired from months of fighting. His uniform was dirty. His face showed cuts and bruises that were still healing. He had just finished his third tour, in the Centauri conflict, a war that had gone on for too long. Alex walked down the main passage of the transport ship, Starlight Voyager. This ship was special. It carried both humans and aliens together, something rare during these times of war. The air smelled different on this ship, a mix of human smells and the strange scents of 5 other alien species. Attention all passengers. We will reach Earth Station in 48 hours. Please find your assigned seats and prepare for jump. Sequence, said a voice over the speakers. Alex sighed. He just wanted to sit down. His leg hurt from an old wound, and he had been standing for hours during the boarding process. He looked at his ticket, seat 34C. He moved through the crowd, feeling the eyes of aliens on him. Humans were not popular these days. The war had made most alien species distrust them. Alex didn't care right now. He just needed to rest. The passenger area was large, but crowded. Humans sat mostly with other humans. Aliens grouped with their own kind. This was how things had been since the war started 10 years ago. Alex spotted his seat at last. It was at the end of a row, next to a window showing the blackness of space. Perfect. He could sleep against the window and not bother anyone. As he approached, he noticed a large figure standing nearby. It was a Dravian, one of the reptile-like aliens from the Drava system. The Dravian stood 7 feet tall with green-brown scales covering its body. It wore the formal clothes of a diplomat. Alex tried to move past the alien to reach his seat, but the Dravian moved, blocking his way. Its yellow eyes narrowed. "Excuse me," Alex said, too tired for a fight. "That's my seat." The Dravian looked down at Alex. "This seat is reserved," it said in a cold voice. The translator device on its neck made the words sound flat and unfriendly. Alex checked his ticket again. "My ticket says 34C, that's this seat." The Dravian didn't move. "I said it is reserved." Its hand moved to something that looked like a weapon on its belt. People nearby began to notice. A human woman with a child moved away. An older man shook his head. Everyone knew that humans and Dravians hated each other. The war had started because of problems between Earth and Dravis. Alex was too tired for this. He had fought for months. He had seen friends die. He had killed enemies. And now he couldn't even sit in his assigned seat on a transport ship. "Look," Alex said, keeping his voice calm. "I don't want trouble. I just need to sit down. My leg is bad." He pointed to the old wound on his right leg, still wrapped in medical bandages. "Your wounds do not concern me, human," the Dravian said. Its voice seemed to get louder. "You will find another place." A ship officer, a young woman with the transport company's uniform, noticed the problem and walked over. "Is there an issue here?" she asked. Before Alex could answer, the Dravian spoke. "This human is disturbing me. I require this section for myself." The officer looked uncomfortable. "Sir, each passenger has an assigned seat. If Staff Sergeant Morgan has ticket 34C, then do you know who I am?" The Dravian interrupted. "I am Keelvor, 3rd diplomatic rank of the Dravian High Council. I demand respect." The officer seemed unsure what to do. Arguments between humans and Dravians could become dangerous quickly. The ship had strict rules about fighting. Alex saw what was happening. The officer was scared. The other passengers were watching. This could turn into a big problem. Then he remembered something. He had seen this Dravian's face before but couldn't remember where. The name Keelvor sounded familiar. Alex reached into his pocket. His fingers touched a small piece of paper. 3 months ago, his commander had given him this note, telling him it might help someday. Alex hadn't understood then, but now, he pulled out the folded paper and quietly handed it to the Dravian. "Here," he said simply. "Read this. Then I'll go." The Dravian took the paper with a look of anger. It clearly expected something unimportant. But as Keelvor unfolded the note and saw what was inside, everything changed. The Dravian's yellow eyes widened. Its scaled hand began to shake. The anger in its face disappeared, replaced by shock. On the paper was a simple drawing, a circle with a line through it, and below, some numbers written in Dravian language. It was a symbol known only to a few, the mark of a secret group called the Shadow Rescuers, humans and aliens who helped civilians during the war. Keelvor looked at Alex again, seeing him differently now. You were on Neos Prime? During the attack? Alex nodded once. He didn't say more. He didn't need to. 3 months ago, during the worst fighting on Neos Prime, Alex had led a small team behind enemy lines. Their mission, not approved by Command, was to find and save a group of civilian children trapped in a school building, both human and Dravian children. Among those children had been a young Dravian named Salen, the child of a high-ranking diplomat. That diplomat had been Keelvor. The Dravian's voice changed completely, becoming softer. You carried my child through the fire zones. Alex shrugged. I carried several children. It was my job. No, Keelvor said. It was not your job. Your commanders ordered no rescue. You broke rules to save our children. The people watching didn't understand what was happening. Why was the angry Dravian suddenly speaking with respect to the human soldier? My child lives because of you, Keelvor said. I was told a human had helped, but they would not tell me who. I did not believe it was true. The Dravian stepped aside, no longer blocking the seat. But instead of letting Alex sit, Keelvor did, something that shocked everyone watching. The tall alien bowed low, a sign of highest respect in Dravian culture. Please, Keelvor said. Take my seat instead. It is more comfortable for your injured leg. I insist. Alex didn't know what to say. A Dravian diplomat was bowing to him. A simple human soldier. This never happened. The other passengers stared in amazement. Something important was happening, though most didn't understand what. Thank you, Alex said finally. But I'll take my assigned seat. We both follow rules, right? Keelvor straightened and nodded with new respect. Indeed, rules matter. But sometimes breaking them for the right reasons matters more. As Alex sat down in seat 34C, he noticed the mood on the ship had changed. Humans and aliens who had been avoiding each other were now watching with curiosity. One small note had changed everything between two enemies. And perhaps it was just the beginning of a bigger change to come. Alex Morgan sat quietly in his seat looking out at the stars. He felt the eyes of the Dravian diplomat on him. It was strange to be so close to a Dravian without fighting. For years, humans and Dravians had been enemies. The ship moved smoothly, through space. Most passengers had settled down. Some slept. Others watched movies on small screens. But Keelvor, the Dravian diplomat, stood in the aisle, still staring at Alex. Finally, Keelvor spoke. May I sit with you, human? He asked. His voice was different now. The coldness was gone. Alex nodded to the empty seat next to him. He wasn't sure what to say. The large Dravian sat down carefully. The seat was small for his 7-foot frame. He still held the note in his hand, looking at it again and again. My child speaks of you often, Keelvor said. Salen calls you the human with kind eyes. I did not believe such a thing could exist. Alex smiled a little. How is your child now? Salen heals well. The burns on the left side are almost gone. The nightmares happen less. Keelvor turned his yellow eyes to Alex. But you know about nightmares, don't you, soldier? Alex looked away. Yes, he knew about nightmares. Every soldier did. Tell me what happened on Neos Prime, Keelvor said. I want to hear from you, not from reports. Alex took a deep breath. He had tried not to think about that day too much, but now, sitting next to the father of one of the children he had saved, the memories came back clearly. We got word that a school had been hit. Both human and Dravian children were inside. Command said no rescue teams could go. Too dangerous. But my squad, we couldn't just leave them. Keelvor listened without speaking. His scaled hands were folded tightly. We went in against orders. 5 of us. The building was burning. We found 23 children alive in a basement room. 12 humans. 11 Dravians. Alex remembered. The faces of those children. The fear in their eyes. The way they had cried when they saw humans with guns. The Dravian children were afraid of us at first. They thought we came to hurt them. But there was one. A small one with a mark on her face. Alex pointed to his right cheek where Saolin had a birthmark. Yes, Keelvor said quietly. That was my child. That one was brave. Told the others we were there to help. We had to. Move fast. The building was falling apart. Each of us carried children out. I took 4 at first, 2 human, 2 Dravian. Alex paused, remembering the weight of those small bodies, the heat of the flames around them. But when we got outside, we realized one was missing. The count was wrong. Your child told me another was still inside, hiding in a closet. I went, back in. The ship's lights dimmed a little as it prepared for the jump to higher speed. The faces of the other passengers were now hard to see. It made it easier for Alex to continue his story. The upper floor was gone. Fire everywhere. I found the closet. Inside was your child, Saolin, holding a smaller Dravian who was hurt badly. I picked them both up. But the way out was blocked now. Alex's voice grew quieter. We had to jump from a window, 3 floors up. I used my body to protect them when we landed. My leg broke in 2 places, but the children were safe. Keelvor's eyes seemed to shine more brightly in the dim light. Alex realized the Dravian was fighting back tears, something he didn't know Dravians could do. You carried my child and another through fire knowing it might mean your death, Keelvor said. Why? We were enemies. Alex shook his head. They were just kids, not enemies. For a long moment, neither spoke. The sounds of the ship filled the quay. Silence between them. Then Keelvor reached into his coat and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared above his hand. It showed a young Dravian child in what looked like a school uniform. The child was smiling, showing small, pointed teeth. On the right cheek was a dark mark in the shape of a half-moon. This is Saolin now, Keelvor said. My child lives, studies, grows because of you. Alex smiled at the image. The child looked happy and healthy. It made all the pain worth it. After you saved the children, what happened to you? Keelvor asked. Military court. We broke orders. 2 of my team were sent home. 1 lost his rank. I was lucky. Just a warning. Then back to the front lines. Keelvor looked shocked. They punished you for saving children? Rules of war, Alex said with a shrug. We were supposed to wait for proper rescue teams. But those teams would have been too late. Yes, they would have been too late. The ship announced it was preparing for the jump to higher speed. All passengers should secure themselves. Keelvor adjusted his safety straps but continued to look at Alex with new eyes. In 3 days I will speak at the Earth-Dravian peace talks, the diplomat said. I was chosen because I lost family in the war, yet still support peace. They do not know my child was saved by a human. Alex wasn't sure what to say to this. He was just a soldier, not a diplomat. What will happen if I tell this story? Keelvor asked. If I show the other diplomats this note, tell them what you did? I don't know, Alex said honestly. I'm just a soldier. Politics isn't my area. Keelvor nodded slowly. Politics? Yes. They told us humans kill Dravian children. That you are monsters who cannot be trusted. That was why many supported the war. The ship's engines grew louder, preparing for the jump. But they were wrong, Keelvor continued. This note proves they were wrong, the jump alert sounded. All talking stopped as the ship prepared to enter faster than light travel. In that moment of silence, Alex saw Keelvor make a decision. The Dravian carefully folded the note and put it in an inside pocket, close to his heart. Staff Sergeant Alex Morgan, the Dravian said formally. Would you be willing to attend the peace talks with me? To tell your story to the diplomats from both sides? The ship jumped. Stars outside the window stretched into lines of light. Alex felt the familiar push against his body as the ship moved faster than light itself. It was a strange moment to be. ask such a big question? Peace talks? Him? He was just a tired soldier who wanted to go home. But looking at the hopeful face of the alien beside him, a father whose child he had saved, Alex knew his answer mattered. Yes, he said simply. I'll go. He didn't know it then, but that single word would change the course of human and Dravian history forever. Earth looked blue and peaceful from the landing ship. Alex Morgan had seen his home planet from space before, but it always made him feel small. 2 days had passed since his talk with Keelvor. The rest of the journey had been quiet. Other passengers had noticed the human soldier and Dravian diplomat talking together. Some looked surprised. Others seemed angry. Humans and Dravians were not supposed to be friendly. Now the ship was preparing to land at Earth Central Station. From there, Alex would normally take a shuttle to the military base for debriefing. But today was different. Today he would go with Keelvor to the peace talks. Are you ready, human friend? Keelvor asked, standing beside Alex at the viewing window. Alex nodded. He wore his formal military uniform now. All his medals were on display. He had earned many during his years of service. I am not sure what will happen, Keelvor said quietly. My government does not know I will bring you. They may be angry. My commanders will be angry too, Alex said. I'm supposed to report to base, not attend peace talks. Keelvor made a sound that might have been a laugh. Then we are both breaking rules again. The ship landed smoothly. Passengers began to gather their things. Alex had only a small bag. A soldier learns to travel light. As they walked toward the exit, a ship officer approached them. Staff Sergeant Morgan, there are people waiting for you. Alex felt worried. Had his commanders found out about his plan? When they stepped off the ship, 6 people stood waiting. 3 were human military officers. 3 were Dravian officials. None looked happy. Staff Sergeant Morgan, said a human woman with the rank of colonel. You were supposed to report directly to base. Why are you here? Before Alex could answer, Keelvor stepped forward. The human is with me, by my request. One of the Dravians, wearing the symbols of a high official, spoke in an angry voice. Diplomat Keelvor, explain yourself. Why do you bring a human soldier to this place? Keelvor stood tall. This human has been invited to speak at the peace talks. I have requested his presence. The human colonel looked shocked. That is not possible. The peace talks are for diplomats only, not for soldiers. I insist, Keelvor said. This human has something important to share. The officials from both sides began to argue. Alex stood quietly. He was used to following orders, not being in the middle of diplomatic problems. Then a new voice spoke. Let them come. Everyone turned. A human woman in a white diplomatic uniform walked toward them. She was older, with gray hair and a face that showed wisdom and experience. Alex recognized her from news reports. This was Carol Lynn, the lead human diplomat. Behind her came an older Dravian, moving slowly with the help of a walking stick. His scales were pale with age. This was Elder Zorketh, the head of the Dravian diplomatic team. What is this about? Elder Zorketh asked, looking from Keelvor to Alex with suspicious eyes. Keelvor bowed to the elder. I have found something that may help our talks, a story that both sides need to hear. Carol Lynn looked at Alex with curious eyes. And this soldier is part of that story? He is the story, Keelvor said. After more discussion, they agreed. Alex would be allowed to attend the opening of the peace talks. He would be given 5 minutes to speak. They rode in a large vehicle to the Earth Government Center, a tall building of glass and steel in what was once called New York City. Alex had never been inside before. Soldiers like him didn't go to such places. The peace talks were being held in a large round room. Humans sat on one side, Dravians on the other. A space in the middle separated them, like a no man's land. When Alex entered with Keelvor, everyone went quiet. It was strange to see so many Dravians in one place without fighting. Alex felt the weight of their stares. We will begin with an unexpected speaker, Carol Lynn announced. A human soldier, Invited by diplomat Vor of the Dravian High Council, Alex walked to the center of the room. His leg hurt from the old wound, but he stood straight and tall. He was nervous. He could fight in battles, but speaking to important people was harder. My name is Staff Sergeant Alex Morgan, Terran Defense Force. 3 months ago, I was fighting on Neos Prime. He paused, looking at the faces watching him. But I'm not here to talk about fighting. I'm here to talk about saving. He told the story simply. The school building. The trapped children. The decision to go against orders. The rescue. The jump from the window. He left nothing out. When he finished, the room was silent. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small object. After we saved the children, one of the Dravian kids gave me this, he said, holding up a small carved stone. She said, "It was for good luck. I've carried it ever since." He walked across the room and held it out to Elder Zorketh. The old Dravian took it with shaking hands. "This is a soul stone," the elder said, his voice filled with surprise. "Given only to family, or to saviors," Kilvor stepped forward. "The child who gave this stone was my child, Salen. This human saved Salen and 10 other Dravian children that day." Whispers filled the room. Many diplomats looked confused. Some looked angry. A human diplomat stood up. "If this is true, why? Haven't we heard about it before? A story like this would have been in the news." A military officer in the back of the room answered. "Because it was classified. The rescue broke direct orders. We didn't want to encourage other soldiers to do the same." A Dravian official spoke next. "We also kept such stories quiet. Our people would not support the war if they knew humans were saving our children." More whispers, more confusion. Carol Lynn walked to the center of the room. "Are there other stories like this? Other acts of help between our people that have been hidden?" Slowly, a Dravian diplomat raised his hand. "During the Battle of Echo Station, human medics treated our wounded. They did not have to do this." Then a human diplomat stood. "After the flood on Colony 12, Dravian ships rescued 300 human families. We were told it was our own ships that saved them." One by one, more people spoke. More stories came out. Humans who had helped Dravians. Dravians who had helped humans. All hidden. All kept secret. Alex stood in the middle, watching, as the truth came out. It felt like a dam breaking, letting loose a flood of stories that had been held back for years. Kilvor moved to stand beside him. "This is why I brought you here," he said quietly. "One story can lead to many." By the end of that day, the peace talks had changed. The space in the middle of the room that had separated humans and Dravians was now filled with people from both sides, talking together, sharing stories that had been hidden for too long. Alex sat in a corner, watching it all happen. He was just one soldier with one story, but sometimes that's all it takes to start something bigger. And on his lap was a message from his commander. "Report to base immediately for disciplinary action." He smiled. Some things never changed. But maybe, after today, other things would never be the same. Alex Morgan sat in a small white room at the military base. He had been here for hours. After the peace talks, he had followed orders and reported for discipline. His commander was not happy that he had gone to the diplomatic meeting instead of coming straight to the base. The door opened and a tall man in a general's uniform walked in. Alex jumped to his feet and saluted. "At ease, Sergeant," the general said. His name tag read, General Carter. His face was stern. "Do you know why you're here?" "Yes, sir. I disobeyed orders to report directly to base, sir." General Carter sat down across from Alex. He placed a folder on the table between them. "That's one reason," he said. "But there's more. Your actions at the peace talks have caused problems." Alex stayed quiet. Soldiers learned when to speak and when to listen. "The story you told about saving those Dravian children on Neos Primes has spread. It's on all the news channels. People are asking questions." The general opened the folder. "Questions like why we kept such stories secret." On the table, the general laid out pictures. They showed Alex and his team carrying children from the burning building on Neos Prime. both human and Dravian children. We had our reasons for keeping these quiet, General Carter said. The war effort needed support. Stories of enemy children being saved by our soldiers, it was bad for morale. With respect, sir, Alex said. Isn't ending the war good for morale? The general's face showed no emotion. Politics isn't your concern, Sergeant. No, sir, but those children were. General Carter looked at Alex for a long moment. Then he did something surprising. He smiled. You remind me of myself when I was younger, he said. Before I learned how complicated the world is. He closed the folder and stood up. Wait here. Someone important wants to meet you. After the general left, Alex sat alone again. He wondered what would happen to him. At worst, he might lose his rank or be discharged from service. At best, maybe just some extra duties. 20 minutes later, the door opened again. This time, a woman walked in. It was Carol Lynn, the lead human diplomat from the peace talks. Behind her came Keelvor. Staff Sergeant Morgan, Carol Lynn said. You've caused quite a stir. Alex stood up again. Ma'am, I didn't mean to cause problems. Problems? She smiled. Or solutions? The peace talks have moved forward more in one day than in the previous year. Your story changed things. Keelvor stepped forward. After you left, more truth came out. Both sides admitted to hiding stories of cooperation and help between our peoples. Both sides admitted to making the other look worse than they are. Why? Alex asked. Why make us hate each other more? Carol Lynn's face turned serious. Resources, control, power, the usual reasons for war. She sat down and motioned for Alex to sit too. But there's more to it. We've discovered that a third party has been working to keep our species fighting. A third party? Alex was confused. Keelvor nodded. The Thalosian Confederacy. They sell weapons to both sides. They gain mining rights when our worlds are too busy fighting to protect them. They benefit from our conflict. And they have agents in both our governments. Carol Lynn added, people paid to keep the hatred strong, to hide stories like yours. Alex tried to take this in. The idea that someone else had been pushing humans and Dravians to fight was hard to believe. After your speech, Keelvor said, one of our diplomats admitted he had been paid by Thalosians to block certain peace efforts. Then one of yours did the same. The whole thing started to unravel, Carol Lynn said. 10 years of war, partly engineered by outsiders who profit from it. Alex thought about all his friends who had died, all for a war that might have been avoided. What happens now? He asked. Now, Carol Lynn said, we need your help again. She explained that both human and Dravian leaders had agreed to form a joint investigation team. They would find all the Thalosian agents in their governments. They would uncover the full truth about who had pushed for war and who had worked to prevent peace. And they want you on this team, she said. Alex was shocked. Me? I'm just a soldier. You're the soldier who saved Dravian children, Keelvor said. The soldier who helped start the peace process. You are trusted by both sides now. It seemed impossible. Just days ago, he had been fighting Dravians on a distant planet. Now he was being asked to work with them. What about my commanders? My current assignment? Carol Lynn smiled. That's been taken care of. You're being reassigned to the Joint Species Cooperation Force effective immediately. She handed him a new ID card. It had both human and Dravian writing on it. This is happening very fast, Alex said. Peace can happen quickly once people decide they want it, Carol Lynn replied. War is the same. As they talked, Alex's personal communication device beeped. He had a message. It was from his old squad, the soldiers who had helped him save the children on Neos Prime. The message was simple. We saw you on the news. Good job, Morgan. Maybe those kids were worth the trouble after all. Alex smiled. His friends understood, even if they joked about it. Keelvor watched him. You have a decision to make, human. Will you help us build this new peace, or return to your old life? It was a big question. Alex wasn't a diplomat or a politician. He was a soldier who had been trained to fight Dravians not work with them. But then he remembered the feeling of carrying those scared children to safety, both human and Dravian. In that moment, there had been no difference between them, just children who needed help. "I'll do it," he said. "I'll help." Keelvor made a sound that Alex now recognized as a Dravian expression of joy. "Good. We start tomorrow. There is much to do." As they prepared to leave, Carol Lynn handed Alex one more thing, a small box. "This came for you," she said. From Neos Prime. Inside the box was a drawing, simple, like a child might make. It showed a tall human figure carrying two smaller Dravian figures. At the bottom were words in both human and Dravian language. "Thank you for saving us." It was signed by all 11 Dravian children Alex and his team had rescued. Alex stared at the drawing. This was why he had become a soldier in the first place, to protect others. Somewhere along the way, in the heat of war, it had become about fighting, about enemies. He had forgotten the real purpose. "I'll need to learn more about Dravians," he said. "If we're going to work together." "And I will learn more about humans," Keelvor replied. "Starting with you, my friend." Friend? The word sounded strange coming from a Dravian, but maybe that was the point. Maybe all of this, the note, the meeting on the ship, the peace talks, maybe it was all leading to something new. As Alex left the room with his new allies, he felt different. Not just a soldier anymore. Not just a human. Something more. Perhaps a bridge between two worlds that had forgotten they could be friends. 1 year had passed since the day Alex Morgan had tried to sit in seat 34C. 1 year since a Dravian diplomat had read a note that changed everything. Alex stood on the bridge of a new ship called Unity Hope. It was the first vessel built together by humans and Dravians. Half the crew was human, half was Dravian. Alex wore a new uniform, blue and silver instead of the green of Earth's military. On his shoulder was the symbol of the Joint Species Cooperation Force, a circle with 3 lines crossing it, the same symbol that had been on the note. "Captain Morgan, we're ready to launch," said his second-in-command, a Dravian named Trelvin. Alex nodded. It was still strange to be called captain. His promotion had come quickly after the peace talks. Too quickly, some thought. But both human and Dravian leaders had insisted. They wanted the hero of Neos Prime to lead this mission. "Send the message to both Earth Command and the Dravian High Council," Alex said. "Tell them we're leaving orbit." The Unity Hope was not a warship. It was a rescue vessel, designed to help civilians caught in dangerous situations. Its mission was to go to planets where Thalosian agents had caused problems between humans and Dravians, and to show both species working together to help. It was not an easy job. Many humans still hated Dravians. Many Dravians still feared humans. The Thalosians had done their work well, spreading lies and starting fights for 10 years. Alex walked around the bridge, checking that everything was ready. He stopped at the communication station, where a young human woman sat. "Any word from Earth about our request?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes, Captain. They've agreed. The children will be allowed to visit both planets." Alex smiled. This was good news. The children from Neos Prime, both human and Dravian, would travel to Earth and Dravis as special guests. They would show both worlds that the youngest victims of war could be friends, even after all that had happened. His communicator beeped. It was a message from an old friend, Keelvor. "Alex Morgan." The Dravian's voice came through. "Are you ready for your first real mission as captain?" Alex tapped the device. "As ready as I'll ever be. How are things at the Peace Council?" "Slow," Keelvor admitted, "but moving forward. The Thalosian agents we caught have given us much information. We now know they were working to keep our peoples fighting for at least 20 more years." "All those lives lost," Alex said quietly. "All because someone else wanted power." "Yes, but you helped stop it." Alex didn't feel like a hero. He had just done what seemed right at the time. Saving those children. Showing that note to Keelvor on the transport ship. Small things that had led to big changes. Has Salen received my message? Alex asked. Yes, Keelvor sounded happy. My child was very excited to hear from the human with kind eyes. Salen will be one of the children visiting Earth next month. The thought made Alex smile. He had not seen Salen since that day on Neos Prime, carrying the injured child from the burning building. We're launching soon, Alex said. Wish us luck. You don't need luck, Keelvor replied. You have something better. You have trust. After the call ended, Alex moved to the front of the bridge. Through the large window, he could see Earth below and the stars beyond. Somewhere out there was Dravis, the homeworld of his former enemies, now his allies, and somewhere else was Thalos, the world whose leaders had tried to keep humans and Dravians fighting forever. Captain, Trelvin said, interrupting his thoughts, there's something you should see. The Dravian officer led Alex to a small room just off the bridge. Inside were gifts from well-wishers, those who supported the new peace. Most were from officials and diplomats, but one package was different. It was marked from the Children of Echo Station School. Inside were hundreds of small paper notes. Each had the same symbol, a circle with 3 lines, and messages written by children, some in human language, some in Dravian script, all saying thanks to the crew of Unity Hope for working to keep the peace. They asked that we keep these with us, Trelvin said, to remind us why we're doing this. Alex picked up one of the notes. It reminded him of the note he had shown Keelvor that day on the transport ship. Such a small thing, just a piece of paper with a symbol, but it had started everything. Put them in the crew area, he said, where everyone can see them. The launch countdown began. The Unity Hope prepared to leave Earth's orbit. Its mission would take it to worlds where fighting still happened, where some still believed the lies that humans and Dravians could never work together. Alex returned to his captain's chair. Around him, humans and Dravians worked side by side. A year ago, this would have seemed impossible. His hand went to his pocket where he still kept the original note. The paper was worn now from being carried so long, but the symbol was still clear. Ready for launch, Captain, said the human pilot. All systems check complete, added the Dravian engineer. Alex looked at his mixed crew. They watched him, waiting for his order. He saw no hatred in their eyes, no fear, just purpose, just hope. Launch, he said. The Unity Hope moved away from Earth, gaining speed. Its engines glowed blue against the blackness of space. It was the first of what would be many joint ships, a symbol itself of what could happen when old enemies decided to become new allies. As the ship entered faster than light speed, Alex thought about how much had changed because of one simple act. He had saved some children because it was the right thing to do. He had shown a note to a Dravian who blocked his seat because it seemed important. Small things, small choices. But they had changed the future for 2 entire species. The stars stretched into lines of light as the ship jumped to faster than light speed. Alex Morgan, once just a tired soldier looking for a place to sit, now led a mission of hope. The war that had seemed endless was over. The hatred that had seemed permanent was fading, all because of a note that changed everything. In the captain's quarters later that night, Alex wrote in his personal log, Day 1 of our mission. The crew works well together. I still find it strange sometimes, seeing humans and Dravians side by side without fighting. But the children understand it better than we do. To them, it makes perfect sense that we should be friends. He paused, thinking about how to end his first entry as captain. Finally, he wrote, My old commander used to say that soldiers follow orders while leaders make choices. 1 year ago, I made a choice to save children who were supposed to be my enemies. I didn't know then that it would lead here. I just knew it was right. Maybe that's all we ever need to know. Alex closed his log and looked out at the stars rushing past his window. Somewhere out there were more worlds, more people who needed to learn that enemies could become allies. That hate could become friendship. The Unity Hope continued its journey into the darkness, carrying its message of hope. And in the captain's pocket, a worn note with a simple symbol reminded him of how it all began. 1 seat. One note. One chance meeting that changed the universe.